Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. Continuing our conversations with the candidates who are running in the Republican primary for San Juan County Sheriff, Daniel Webb is joining me now here in the studio to talk about his campaign. Mr. Webb, thank you for coming in. Great to see you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You bet. You are one of 4 candidates who are running for San Juan County Sheriff. You currently are the administrator of the San Juan County Adult Detention Center, correct?
That's correct, yes.
You've been there now for how long?
Let's see. July will be 14 years. Was deputy warden for almost 8 years, and come May 3rd, I will have been the warden administrator for 6 years.
Okay, a long time.
Yeah.
Very good. And so talk to me a little bit about the transition or the decision-making process between working this current job and then deciding to run for sheriff.
Well, first let me preface it with my law enforcement experience.
Okay.
And I say that because I think it's important. So I started my career in 1997 at the San Juan County Sheriff's Office.
Uh-huh.
And there I rose to the rank of administrative lieutenant. And in 2012, I saw what I thought was a potential to advance my career to some degree.
Uh-huh.
And I took the deputy warden position.
At the detention center.
At the detention center.
Gotcha.
So still with the county.
Sure, right.
So almost 29 years with the county.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've been there almost 14 years now.
Right.
All of that in administration.
Gotcha. And so, but now you decided that you don't want to, or maybe you don't want to be the administrator anymore, or this is another opportunity, I guess, to run for sheriff. And so the transition back, I guess, to the SO.
Well, so I've known since 2009, honestly, that I was going to run for sheriff one day.
Uh-huh.
So, and now is just the time. I feel like I've got plenty of years of service and experience, leadership, and the skills as a department head handling a $23 million annual budget. And overseeing the county's largest facility to include the largest amount of staff.
Right.
So, and I feel like of the other 3 candidates, I have a real vision for what needs to be changed here in San Juan County.
Okay.
So
let's talk about that then.
Okay.
What's some of your vision then of what you would bring to the sheriff's office?
So. I think the other candidates have openly spoke about making changes to catch and release, mm-hmm. which was basically the bail reform. Now, bail reform was enacted, it was voted on and passed in 2017, July 1, 2017. So that changed everything. So at that point, our numbers were, I think, probably 700 plus detainees at the facility.
Okay, that seems pretty full.
Yep, pretty well, yeah. So anyhow, after bail reform came to be and into effect July 1, 2017, our numbers reduced. When COVID hit in March of 20, mm-hmm. we were at about 548. That's kind of where we leveled off. Anyhow, since COVID, numbers have come back up. We're right in the 400 area now. So the focus for, I think, the others has been that they want to go back and change bail reform so we can get the numbers back up in the facility, which means these folks aren't on the streets committing these crimes.
Right.
Simple math suggests that makes sense. Okay. To me, I think we have to look at what's at hand. And there's a lot of variables in place and in play that have to line up for us to ever be able to go back and do something about bail reform. A lot of legislation, things have to occur.
I see. So it sounds like you're saying it's not an easy solution.
Right, but we have an alternative solution to still address crime and recidivism, and that's with addressing the people that are incarcerated and being incarcerated repeatedly on a regular basis, which is recidivism itself. And much of that is absolutely driven by the nation's mental health crisis, and often, mostly, accompanied by one or more addictions. So, and I don't probably have to tell you that the San Juan County Adult Detention Center functions as the community's de facto mental health facility. And I say all this because I have the experience, I have that perspective.
Sure.
So,
Gotcha. And so you feel then by dealing with that one issue, you have to deal with all these other issues too, like mental health facilities and resources, and also drug treatment and addiction treatment and things like that. Those all go together, hand in hand.
Well, because it's a national crisis, there's money available. By sheer virtue of it being a national crisis. But we are rural. We're smaller. We don't always get the same considerations and allocations. And we do have some great programs here in our community, our pretrial services, and we have RISE and Access Program and reentry support services. But they are about maybe 20%, if even, of what we absolutely really need in our community to make an impact with this population.
Gotcha. Understood. Well, thank you for answering that and for talking about that. I know it is a big issue in the community, and a lot of folks are talking about it. And it sounds like you're saying it's not just up to the judges then to fix the problem either.
Right.
Got it. Okay. What about juvenile crime? Let me ask you a little bit about that, since we're on that topic as well. Do you feel like the punishment fits the crime, or that the juvenile code needs some attention as well in our state?
I would say that the juvenile code also needs attention, but one of the biggest components here is that everybody wants to talk about is violent juvenile crime.
Right.
And the way I see it is everything that we do and have been doing, and yeah, we could change some things with the law and better address sentencing and stuff, but if we want to genuinely impact violent juvenile crime, we need to start having more of a presence with these kids at an earlier level. Like, I'm talking first and second grade, which means we need to have a higher presence in our school system. And currently, I believe there's one SRO for all of the schools outside of the incorporated areas. So that would be all of Kirtland as well as Blanco.
Right, right. And for you, would you then, as sheriff, would you try to find money for more school resource officers in those outlying schools, in those schools that are in San Juan County proper? Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe it's essential, absolutely necessary for us to do these things to make that impact. These kids, they're already 14, 15, 16 years old. They're already on a bad path. That doesn't mean that we can't come back and help and redirect and save some of those folks, but we're going to be way, way money ahead if we get to a good place where we're impacting these kids early on.
Earlier, understood.
Yeah, being a good influence.
Right. And for the kids, though, that are committing some of these serious crimes as juveniles, I know they don't maybe make their way to the adult detention center. There's another facility for them.
Sure.
But do you think that they're gaming the system to a certain degree? They know that they're not going to get into the general population at the adult detention center, and maybe they'll just get sent home or what have you?
Absolutely. And that in itself is an issue. But again, that's something that's going to have to be changed. Not right here in San Juan County. It's going to have to be changed at state level.
Certainly, of course. And as sheriff, if elected, do you think you'd have a kind of a louder voice maybe to
absolutely.
kind of advocate for some of these changes? And would you plan to do that?
Sure. As an elected official, I mean, that absolutely would be part of my job.
Right.
And I am not just willing, I am eager and anxious to go and do these things in Santa Fe, as well as address the mental health crisis and how those things being better addressed would help us. Right here in San Juan County.
Okay. Being elected sheriff, certainly it is the highest elected law enforcement position in any county, right? An elected sheriff is. And they have the job of enforcing the Constitution and laws that live up to the Constitution, both statewide and federally. What's your thoughts on some of those issues, I guess, that are facing our state and our community these days?
So ultimately, the keeper of the peace and tasked with bringing all offenders before the judge. and also capture civil processes. We're obligated to take care of civil processes. But for me, when you talk about the, how'd you put it? It's the
highest elected law enforcement officer in a community,
elected,
right?
I see it as the highest elected public servant. That's just how I view that position, and that's how I would carry out my duties, is absolutely serving our public and doing what's best for San Juan County.
Okay, very good. You have already announced your selection as undersheriff, if I'm not mistaken. That was maybe a couple of days ago as we're talking here today, and I want to ask you a bit about him and his selection. Philip Francisco, currently the police chief for the city of Bloomfield. What made you decide to choose Mr. Francisco?
Basically what I just talked about.
All those things.
Serving my community. For me, the best thing I could do in filling that position would be serve the community. And I don't know if you're familiar with Philip Francisco and his career, but he's been in law enforcement, I believe, since 1999, so about 26 years.
Right.
And I first met him on a call in 99. I believe, in Aztec. I backed him up I was a young deputy at the time, or at least a new deputy. And he ended up coming to work for us, I think, in 01 at the sheriff's office. I was eventually his sergeant. I left in 2012. I think he went to Farmington. Then he moved on to Navajo PD, where he served as chief of police out there for 6 years.
Right.
And he did a lot of good things for the Navajo Nation, and specifically for the PD out there. Brought a lot of changes. And so I always have to say this, and it kind of embarrasses him when we're in a group, but I tell people this much, and then I go on to say, Philip and I have never been friends. And I say that because I don't mean we're not friendly, but he and I have never done anything outside of work. We've always been, either supervisor, subordinate, or peers, or administrators,
right,
together, whether he's at Navajo Nation PD or Bloomfield PD. As a matter of fact, Bloomfield PD currently is the 10th safest city in all of New Mexico, thanks to his efforts. So for me, it was about doing the right thing for the community, and to me it also shows transparency, which you can expect 100% from me moving forward. But he is absolutely a man of character, man of honor. He has leadership skills, and he has a resume second to none. I would say you could line up all the law enforcement lieutenants and higher in our community right here, and I would challenge you to point at one that's better suited for that position.
All right, very good. Are you surprised that your three other opponents, have not announced a choice for undersheriff?
Well, actually, John Nice has.
Has he?
Carlos Loomis.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
I think you're right. But I stand corrected.
Okay,
so
well, I didn't
was going to say
but,
no. I just talked to him, but yeah. I think he mentioned that to me, and I completely forgot.
And good guy. I worked with Carlos for years.
So how about the other two then? Are you surprised the other two have not announced their choices?
It's pretty standard procedure that it hasn't been announced. As a matter of fact, I don't know of any announcement prior to me doing that. But I've had so many people approach me and thank me for putting that out there, and it shows that I'm transparent and that I'm willing to identify who will be my number two.
Right.
Once elected.
Got it. Very good. We're just about out of time,
sure.
Mr. Webb, but I wanted to, before we go, ask you if folks would like more information about your campaign or about other issues that we haven't talked about yet this morning. What's the best way to find out more about you or to contact you directly?
So online you catch me at Webb 4, that's the number 4, sheriff.com.
Okay.
Also have Facebook and Instagram, Daniel Webb for Sheriff.
Okay.
And if you care to, my personal cell is 505-320-6716. I would urge you to text me.
Okay.
So I'm not inclined to answer too many calls I don't recognize.
But a text you'll get back to
Absolutely.
Folks. You'll answer them. So very good.
Sure will.
Daniel Webb, thank you for coming in this morning and talking with me about your campaign. Much good luck with it. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.